And Rowdy's referencing the last event we'll see tonight, the 400 free relay, which is always a great one. We start with the mile, 1650. Freestyle, Jillian Cox. She won the 500 here earlier this week for Texas. And Aurora Roger, who won this at the ACC Championships. And she has had a very good meet for Stanford here at these nationals. She was second last year. And a sit back because obviously this is the distance swim. And it's going to take somewhere under a half an hour, right?
Up 66 lengths of the pool. Yeah. About half that time.
Yeah, I know.
15 minutes and change.
Well,
but
Rowdy, you love times. Anybody that is listening to you call swimming, you know that. So tell me, is Katie Ledecky's record threatened here tonight?
Oh, that's so funny. You brought that on purpose. I know you brought that up. We were talking in the production meeting, everyone, and we were talking about how great, I was talking about how great Katie's record is. And in my opinion, and Gretchen Walsh, she's going to have an argument there, no doubt about it, but 15:01 is her, okay, can I get into this for just 30, give me 30 seconds.
Yeah, so you got
Katie Ledecky's third 500, her third 500 would have finished third in the individual 500 here at these NCAA championships. Her second 500 would have been the 14th fastest swimmer in history. She has the 7 fastest times in history, and she would have a lot more, but she only swam it a few times in her career. That's her last major American record. You can't break a world record in yards. Of course, there's arguments about that as well, but she has the American record of 15:01. And the last bit of information, the next fastest swimmer is 22 seconds.
That's amazing.
Behind her.
Erica Sullivan, wow. The record,
I've got a lot more, buddy,
well, no,
if you really want it.
Well, we have a little time here. The record we're talking about that Katie Ledecky set in this was 2 years ago. 2 years ago this month at the Florida Spring Senior Championships.
She almost got under. I was there. She was. I thought she was getting under. And I'll never forget the first male. I was at the meet when the first male ever did it. Casey Converse, 15 minutes back in '76. Wow.
All right, so again, by comparison, and these, just think, I mean, these are the best college swimmers right now in the country, right? These are the best. And Jillian Cox, who has the lead right now in lane 4 for Texas, has the fastest lifetime best in this field. This is a championship field at 15:30. Again, that just gives you some perspective.
Yeah. And Jillian is the 4th fastest collegiate performer in history in this event. And if she goes 15:30 again, Katie would have lapped her. It's not taking anything away. Trust me, I'm not taking anything away from Jillian. She is incredible. She's the 4th fastest performer in history, for crying out loud. But it just gives you, as you said, perspective of the greatness of Katie Ledecky, not only in the pool, but what she's meant to the sport out of the pool.
And I've got to say that Nolan was more mesmerized by your dissertation on these times than Elizabeth Beisel, right?
You guys, I think Rowdy has the most fun facts when it comes to Ledecky. And I think we all separately talked to her earlier, and I know she's watching broadcast tonight, and she's like, you guys.
Exactly.
She's very humble. You know, you've spent a lot of time with Katie, and as we look at these swimmers, these are, I mean, they're, Elizabeth, 4 of the 8 fastest, or I should say 3 of the 8 fastest performers in history are in this race right here. I mean, what makes her a half a pool length ahead of them already? I mean, what made her so great? I don't want to harp too long on Katie, but I think it's worthy.
I think it's the perfect intersection of she is just willing to work hard. Like, of course, everybody in this heat tonight has talent. Everybody at this level has talent, but I think Ledecky just has that extra edge in terms of she will put her head down, she will grind, and she will race no matter what.
She loves it. She loves the process. Yeah. Yep, no doubt about it.
And Jillian Cox is the same. I was listening to a podcast that she had done. She does like 100 100s and will hold 54s. And she eats it up. She absolutely loves it. And that's why she's able to hold such a strong pace throughout this entire 1650. The girl is just settling in right now.
Elizabeth, I don't think I've done 100s in my life.
I was going to ask, what do you vaguely remember that? By the way, we have to reference that the defending champion is in this field, too, and that's Abby McCullough from Georgia.
Right. And she's one of those other swimmers that are in the top 8 of all time. She's 8th fastest.
And so right now it is McCullough who is second to Jillian Cox, and Ching Gan from Indiana is third.
And Ching Gan has been second and third the last 2 years in this event. She was second back in 23 and won the bronze, so to speak, last year. This is an exhausting event, and I want to ask Elizabeth again, because during our meeting, I think it was Cynthia had asked her if she'd ever swum this race. I never did, obviously, but did you swim it, and what was the plan of attack when you swim this race?
Yeah, that's a great question. I feel like the normal blueprint is easy speed that first 500 and then descend your 500. So kind of like take it easy and then pick it up the next 500 and then really hammer home that third 500. And then, of course, the last 150 is an all-out sprint. But these athletes train every single day for this. These are the distance swimmers that are in practice the full 2 hours, that come early, stay late. And it's also a testament to them being able to swim this on the last day of this meet, you guys. Like, it is such an exhausting meet, and to have the 1650 on the last day, I feel bad for them. I never had to do it, but I feel for them.
Well, you know, there's actually a proposal, guys, that to have the 1650 earlier in the week, I like it, actually. I love the fact that, you know, you get that done early, like on a Wednesday, and then you, of course, then it wipes you out for the other events. So,
well, that's what I'm wondering now. Both of you tell me from experience, because Aurora Rogaire, second last year, but she's been busy this week, including relays.
Yeah.
And she's nowhere near. She's in fourth right now, but not threatening at all right now to the top three.
Yeah, that is Rogaire right there, yeah.
So could that be a factor?
I mean, I don't know about Elizabeth, but I've lived through this meet before myself, and it is not for the faint of heart, Ted. It is brutal, it's grueling, it is multiple sessions. You cannot take it easy at all. Well, Gretchen Walsh can take it easy, I guess, in the morning. But, I mean, very few can, Elizabeth. And you know more than anybody, because even in the distance events, you got to get after it. You can't take that risk.
Yeah, I love this point, because if we were to put the mile on Wednesday, you know, these swimmers are kind of settling into their taper as the meet goes, so it would make sense, right? Like, you're maybe not fully tapered for the mile on Sunday because you've been racing all week. So, this meet is such a dogfight. You have to show up in prelims and finals. I mean, luckily for these 1650 swimmers, it is a time final event, so we are just seeing the fastest heat, so they'll only have to swim it once. But, yeah, it's a tough meet all around, no matter what you're swimming.
15:49 is the top time thus far.
There were 5 prior heats in this time final, as Elizabeth referenced. Now, when they get to that end of the pool, you see those 8 people sticking at the end of a hole, numbers down in the pool so the swimmers know what lap they are. What do you call that, Elizabeth?
They're lap counters. and it is a rite of passage for everybody on the team. I feel like whenever you have a friend that is swimming a distance event, it's almost an honor when somebody asks you to count for them. And Rowdy, I'll let you kind of get into the signals that counters can send to the swimmers in the water.
Yeah, you know, you could see them shake it up and down. A lot of coaches have different strategies on how to get the swimmer to kind of pick it up or tell them that they're doing just fine. Sometimes it's back and forth, sometimes it's up and down. But normally a swimmer, I don't know about you, Elizabeth, but I always saw my coach. For some reason, he was very, very animated, and I was always able to see him. So I did swim the 500, so I never really did pay attention to those lap times.
So for people like me and probably thousands of others watching, are these all teammates? Is that who does this? It's somebody from somebody from each team. Okay.
Yeah.
They're not race officials that are neutral.
No.
Neutral parties. Okay.
Although I will say, like, if you are, let's say you're the only swimmer on your team here at NCAA's and you're swimming the 1650, an official will step in and count for you. Right. So that has been done before. But yeah, normally it's just your teammate.
All right. So coming towards the 1,000 turn here, Jillian Cox continuing to hold a lead, and she's kind of lengthened it a little bit. In fact, Rogaire of Stanford has moved up into a pretty good battle, a three-way battle for second place. You can see them all flipping there, almost in sync. McCullough of Georgia, Ching from Indiana, and Roger from Stanford.
And you've got to remember that, again, this is a fantastic field here. You've got 4 of the top 5 swimmers from last year's championship, including the top 2, return back to this heat. So it gives you a little, we're talking perspective, it gives you a little perspective on how dominating Jillian Cox is swimming right now. She looked great all the way through. She was 442. Let's see, she 442 and then 445 her second 500. So those splits are right on. I mean, Ted, look at this. 8-4, 28-4, 8-4, 8-7, 8-4, 8-5, 8-3, 8-2. So she's even picking it up a little bit.
Wow.
And digging a bigger hole between herself and the rest of the field.
The truly great endurance athletes in all sports, that seems to be a constant, is that my only relation is to running marathons, but the great marathoners, mile 25 is within a very close distance time-wise to mile 1.
Right.
It's amazing.
And I'm watching Roger, who's starting to make a little bit of a move. Again, you just kind of watch these splits. There's Carol Capitani. I mean, I know that she will not be as illustrious here as Todd DeSorbo, just because of the fact that you went 5 in a row. You deserve all that recognition. But Carol Capitani has done such an amazing job with the Texas women. And she's had to navigate through some tough waters, I think, over the last year because of the transition of Eddie retiring and Bob Bowman coming in, and she's never skipped a beat. And this team is just as tough as it always has been.
We all saw it a month ago at the SEC championships, where the Texas women excelled.
Dominated even more so than the men.
Absolutely.
I mean, it was unbelievable. So good to put her on the screen and give her some credit.
Jillian Cox flipping at 12:50 there, so 400 yards to go.
Well, Roger is just starting to feel it a little bit. Every single split, she's kind of made a little bit of a dent in Cox's lead. Although Cox was 28-1 there, Roger went back to 28-3. So she kind of started to make that move, Ted, a little bit. She was about 5 seconds behind at about 800. She's 3.9 seconds now. So a little bit of a move, but boy, I tell you, she is running out of room. She's not going to catch Cox.
No.
Not at this point, but boy, I tell you, both of them are swimming some fast swims right now.
Now in lane 3, that's third from the bottom, the defending champion has fallen off. Abby McCullough of Georgia is a distance back now in 4th, so the top 3 look to be pretty set.
Yeah. And if we're talking shout-outs, let's say Ching Gan. I mean, what a performance she's having here. I mean, again, this is a top 3 performance for her 3 years in a row. That's saying a lot right there. That's a great swimmer in her senior year from Singapore. Swimming for Coach Ray Lewis, another one that doesn't get a lot of credit when he is just consistent all the way through, for both the men's and women's program.
And the IU swimmers are on the side closer, as are the Stanford swimmers. You can see they're trying to boost each other to see in this battle for second.
Yeah, hard to see him, but he's right there. That's Greg Meehan, another fabulous job. He's my coach of the meet. I mean, you have to give it to Greg Meehan. I don't know how you can give it to anybody else. Obviously, Todd, you know, what he's been able to accomplish, but not a lot of people pick Stanford to get second here, and they're battling Texas all the way to do it.
So we're in the final 200 yards now. Roger is continuing to lead a little more than a body length ahead of Ching Gan for second place. And Roger is, that's a pretty good back half for her. It feels that way, Rowdy. You were on the splits, tell me.
Yeah, no, it is a great back half. She's done a tremendous job in doing what she needed to do to kind of, exactly what Elizabeth said. get a feel for the water, get a little tempo going that first 500, and then try to descend from there. Again, going back to Katie's split, she was 436, 433, 434 in her 500s, and that's what Rogaire is sort of doing. Problem is, she's running up against this sensational sophomore in Jillian Cox.
So we're in the last 100. Jillian Cox of Texas, looking strong, has led this from the start. Aurora Rogaire of Stanford has made this good push to take second. And Chingan of Indiana is third. And that appears to be pretty set.
Yeah, it really has spaced out that way, hasn't it, Ted? I mean, as you see Jillian Cox turn, it's, you know, about 3.5 seconds. There's another turn, and then another 2-3 seconds. There's another turn, and then you've got a little bit of a race coming in here for fourth, but still, it's pretty clear cut, isn't it?
Fourth right now, Maya Geringer of Cal is at the bottom of your picture. So here comes Jillian Cox in to win her second individual national championship. The 500 and the 1650. Rogaire of Stanford gets second, and Gan Ching from Indiana is third. Fourth place, McCullough of Georgia does do a nice job. She came back that last 50. And McCullough gets fourth, and Geringer of Cal is fifth.
Whew, I'm tired just watching. 66 lengths of the pool. And Texas can celebrate that first and seventh place finish in this heat. That won't be seventh overall, but Jillian Cox doing just a tremendous job winning that race by about 6 seconds, Ted. It really never was close. I mean, she took the lead from really the first 25 and never looked back, and just consistent all the way through. Again, take a look at these last 4 or 5 splits: 8-1, 8-1, 8-1, 8 flat, and then 7-2 on the last 50. It's just, that's what you want, man. You want that consistent tempo all the way through.
Now, it's been a terrific distance swimmer, Jillian Cox. There's the Stanford team, and Aurora Rogaire has had a very good national championship meet and gets Stanford second place points. But for Texas, Jillian Cox, she wins at the SEC championships in the 1650 and does the 500 and the 1650 here.
Tough.
So that's the 8 in the last heat.
Ted, she's going to have a great summer coming up. She was, remember, she was third in that 400 and 800 at the Olympic trials. She's going to have a tremendous summer.
All right, Elizabeth with the winner.
Jillian Cox, this is your first year swimming at Texas. It's your second individual NCAA title here this week. I want to talk about your race strategy because you swam that like a vet. It was so controlled. It was so consistent. You were 28.3, 28.1, descended, did all the things right. How do you have the confidence to come in and control a 1650 like that?
I'm glad to see that the work I've done this year has paid off. I can contribute that to all my coaches at UT. There's no way that I could go in that confident to a mile without them or hold a pace. Like, that's all my coaches, honestly.
I feel like it's pretty tough that we ask all of you guys to swim the 1650 on the last day. I know it probably hurt, but how do you stay mentally sharp and focused throughout the whole meet where you're cheering? There's a lot of other things going on, so how do you stay focused for this mile here tonight?
Honestly, that's what become one of my favorite events. I was really excited for it. I just had to focus on cheering for our team, not think about the mile until the day of, and just focus on keeping our team rolling.
Yeah. Jillian, you are now a 2-time NCAA champion. Congratulations.
And just as we talked a little bit last night, the phrases, you feel like Virginia's piling on. But Texas, in this one, as you see the summary results, Texas gets first to Stanford second, so that will help in the Texas-Stanford race for second place. And it's 6th place, 7th place, and 8th place, actually. 6, 7, and 8 all came from earlier heats.
And I want to give a shout out to that Gina Jorgensen from Nebraska. The coach there, my old teammate,
Yes.
Pablo Morales.
That's
Won a
great.
gold medal with him in 1984. Go Cornhuskers.
That was nice. It was nice to see him today. It's a different red for him, though.
It is a different red.
That was took a little getting used to. We'll be back.